Really, one thing that I have learned is a weakness may be a weakness in one situation, but a strength in another situation. And so really, I like to call it the art of the takeaway, right? And there's a whole theory behind the art of the takeaway, but you can see something that maybe is a weakness in you and figure out how to make it a strength. Someone might say that I'm impatient, that I tend to want something right now or want it, but that can be a weakness, but it can also be a strength in certain situations where I go get it, I go after what I want, and I really try to focus on making that weakness in one situation a strength in another situation. There are ways to recognize, to be self-aware, and to recognize what our weaknesses are and what our strengths are, and use them both to benefit us.
First experience that comes to my mind is when I wanted to figure out what I was doing in my career field, right? So what I actually wanted to do. I was a psych major here at UVU, Wolverine for my life, and I wasn't sure where I wanted to go with that. So I joined this CAL program, right? It was called CAL at that point, called a PLP. You were a housing student. Now it's the LEAD program, which we're all a part of. And I was accepted into the housing scholarship. I was having a conversation with a fellow PLP of mine, so a fellow LEAD student, and he said, hey, you should really apply for student government next year. They're super structured, they've got a really good way of helping you complete your leadership hours here in Cal, and it's also a great place to meet diversity. You've got people from the multicultural department, you've got people who are senators, so they're very focused on academics, you have club ambassadors. There's 175 clubs on this campus. You want to meet people? There you go. And I thought, okay, well, I don't know. I don't think I can add one more thing to my plate. Like, I already can't organize it. But I applied and I interviewed, and it was the scariest interview ever. There was a panel of like 12 people sitting across from me, and here I am in this chair. I felt like Alice in Wonderland. The chair was like this much bigger than me. And I thought, how do I tell them that I really want to serve these students? And the interview went really well, and I finished, and they called me back a couple days later and said, we'd love for you to be the assistant to the vice president of clubs next year. And I was like, oh my gosh, I can do this, this will be great. And they set out a calendar for me, and they gave me a structure, and I had already had the CAL expectation side, and I formed those, and they had meeting times, and they gave me a little office space so I could come on campus, and I had a space to organize my stuff. And I realized, okay, now I can really use my strengths in addition to these resources, combine them, and my weaknesses don't disappear, but all of a sudden there's a refinery process happening there by utilizing everybody around me. And I thought, okay, I can do this, and I just kind of took off from there. And before I knew it, I was applying for different scholarships left and right, being so involved with the club's office for 2 years, then I did student alumni, now I'm back in Cal, so that I can kind of do the same thing for other students and identify where your best interests are, right, but also where you could use a little bit of refinery, which was totally the area that I needed help in. I already had the passion. I was already there with that strength. I was gung-ho for helping students, but I just wasn't sure how to use it. And so joining that group from Cal to student government to alumni and then back here has really helped me organize that a little better. And so that's kind of what I say about strengths and weaknesses, is they work hand in hand, and as long as you're willing to kind of jump in and take a couple risks, then the structure and the environment that may come from that could really be valuable to you, because it was to me.